Welcome to the Taekook Fans channel. Amid the global spotlight that is constantly fixed on BTS, there is a story that quietly grows in the pauses, when some choose to return and others stay a little longer. When Taehyung and Jungkook didn't leave with the rest of the group for Korea, one question lingered without a clear answer. Coincidence or choice? In a city that never truly sleeps, in the leftover hours after the stage lights fade, they seem to find something different, something calmer, closer, and perhaps more honest. A gaze that lingers a little too long, laughter that sounds simple yet feels deep, and small moments that slip past most people's attention. All of them like pieces of a puzzle waiting to be understood. On the Taekook Fans channel, we don't just watch what happens, we try to feel what lies in between. Because sometimes the most genuine stories come from the things left unsaid. Taehyung and Jungkook did not return with the other BTS members, Jimin, Suga, RM and J-Hope, who went back to Korea earlier. They chose to stay longer in Tokyo, as if stealing a little time from a world that never stops moving. After an exhausting concert, when their energy on stage had been completely spent, they didn't go home right away. There was still something they wanted to feel, something that could only be found when they were together, without the spotlight, without the noise. On stage earlier, their passion was never half-hearted, especially Jungkook, who kept glancing at Taehyung. His gaze intense yet warm, even slightly teary. There was a sincerity he couldn't hide, as if every note he sang wasn't just for the audience, but also for the one person beside him. And in between, with a light tone yet full of meaning, Jungkook called him, "My wife." A phrase that may have sounded like a joke, but felt far deeper than mere teasing. Many wondered, where did they go? Korean media had reported that all members had returned, but those two names were missing. Speculation arose that they were still in Japan enjoying an extra day, a small honeymoon that was never truly confirmed, yet felt real to anyone paying attention. In a stadium not yet fully filled, with empty seats and lights not fully bright, they stood side by side. At first it was just a soundcheck, just a warm-up. But somehow every second they spent together felt like part of a bigger story. Something deeper. When the first note played, the atmosphere changed. Taehyung stood with a calm, mysterious aura, as if hiding something behind his smile. Meanwhile, Jungkook was more alive, more open. His eyes sparkled, full of energy that was hard to contain. When their voices blended, it wasn't just harmony that was heard. There was another kind of vibration, subtle yet tangible, as if they were speaking to each other through the song, sending messages without words, understood only by the two of them. Small moments unfolded. Jungkook glanced at Taehyung with a mischievous smile, deliberately softening his voice into something more teasing. Taehyung turned, his brow slightly raised, then smiled. A genuine, unforced smile. There was no script, no direction, just two souls who understood each other. They moved casually across the stage, as if the world belonged only to them. Sometimes their shoulders almost touched, then drifted apart again, like a game without rules. Jungkook lingered just a bit too close, and Taehyung responded with a look that was hard to explain. Not just playful, not entirely serious either. That's where the magic was. Their laughter sounded light but warm. There were small words that the microphone didn't catch, yet enough to make Taehyung lower his head with a smile, trying to hide his reaction. When the chorus came, their voices merged again, stronger, more emotional. And in that moment, time seemed to slow down. There was no audience, no pressure. Just the two of them, in the middle of a vast stadium, creating their own small world. Jungkook suddenly stopped in front of Taehyung, almost making him bump into him. They laughed, an honest, unfiltered laugh. Taehyung responded with a light push on Jungkook's shoulder. Simple yet meaningful. There was also a moment when their hands almost touched, just for a few seconds, but they didn't quite hold on, as if there was an invisible boundary they kept, and somehow that made the closeness feel even stronger. Because sometimes what doesn't happen speaks the loudest. As the song ended, they slowly moved apart, but there was a strange pause, like something was left unfinished. Taehyung walked toward the edge of the stage, but his gaze lingered. Jungkook tried a high note again, his voice strong yet soft, as if delivering one last message. Their steps crossed paths again, this time without laughter, just small, restrained smiles. Silence filled the space, but it wasn't awkward. It was comfortable, like two people who already understand each other too well. The stage lights shifted colors, casting long shadows between them. Their movements remained in sync, as if unconsciously following each other's rhythm. Jungkook stepped closer again, then stopped. Not too far, not too close. Taehyung turned slowly. His gaze was gentle, as if reading something no one else could see. For a moment, the world seemed to stop, and in the middle of it all, music, light, and open space. What remained was just the two of them, two people who may never say anything directly, yet always manage to make everything feel so clear.